I'm back with another spooky story, and this one is The Walking Dead from Kenya. I don't know if you want to watch this one at night. We're gonna call the person who submitted the story Rose. Rose says that she would often go back home to Kenya for vacations, and when she went back home, that's when she would experience the craziest things. Originally, she does live in America, so a lot of the things that she experiences when she goes back home is mind-boggling for her. She said the first thing she experienced was when she went back home for her uncle's funeral. She must have been around 7 or 8 when her family flew back to Kenya to go to the uncle's funeral. Rose already knew what exactly she was back home for, so she knew that the uncle had passed away, and she knew that the following day was the uncle's wake. So it was really weird and strange, to say the least, what happened next. It was pretty late at night, and Rose is in bed sleeping, until she heard the door literally open, close, heard somebody walk inside the house and walking towards the room that she was sleeping in. Rose didn't think anything of it. Maybe it was just somebody coming home extra late. The door slamming shut was what woke Rose up. So as she's hearing the footsteps, she feels like she has nothing to be afraid of until the footsteps comes into the room that she was sleeping in. Now, Rose says she was sleeping next to her mother, so when the footsteps approached, it sounds like the footsteps stopped walking when it got right in front of Rose. So Rose opens her eyes, and it's dark, mind you. So when she does open her eyes, it reveals that there's a man standing right in front of Rose. And because it was dark, Rose really couldn't make out who exactly that was. Because she's like so freaked out at this point, she just closes her eyes. When she closes her eyes though, she feels somebody tap her on her back while she's laying on the bed. And once Rose opened her eyes, the figure that was standing over her starts to kneel so that they can see each other eye to eye. Rose says that once the figure kneeled, she was able to see that it was, drumroll please, her dead uncle. He stared at her and says, "Shh. You have to tell the family something." Rose says she did not care what the message was. She literally started shaking her mother and screaming. Her mother would not wake up though. For some reason, her mother did not wake up though. Her grandmother, who was also in the house, must have heard the screaming and came rushing into the bedroom to see what was wrong with Rose. Rose explains to her grandmother that she just saw her uncle, and her grandmother's like, he's pretty much unalived, so I don't know if you did see him or not. Her grandmother asked her, like, did he say something? Rose was like, basically, he seemed like he was gonna say something, but I don't know what it was because I freaked out and I started screaming. So the following day was the uncle's wake, and this is when things officially got really, really freaky. Her mother woke up eventually the following day, and she told her mother what she experienced the night before, having seen her deceased uncle. No one seemed to be concerned that she just seen a dead person. So fast forward to the wake, everybody goes to the wake, and she said this is the part that's gonna sound crazy. During his wake, while somebody is up there talking about his life, talking about all the things that he achieved and stuff, one of his friends, the corpse bust out of its coffin, sat up. He fully stood up, got out of the coffin. Rose said they saw each other and made eye contact in that moment, and it just seems like he gave her a look of disappointment. He had a friend that was at the funeral that was sitting all the way in the back. So when the dead man got up, he just started walking slowly but surely towards that friend that was sitting all the way in the back. The corpse then attacked the friend by attempting to choke him to death. By attempting to choke this man to death. And nobody wanted to touch a dead man. Everybody around just screamed, and some started praying as this corpse is literally strangling somebody to death. So as everybody is praying, the corpse winds up collapsing on top of the man that he was suffocating. Everybody was too scared to come close. 5 minutes went by, and it seemed like neither of them were moving. Someone who was brave enough went to check, found that both the corpse and the person that the corpse attacked were unalived. So there was a death at a funeral, and the murderer was the corpse. Rose says she was way too young to understand what exactly was happening, but it was clear that the corpse had some real disdain towards that friend, as it got up, attacked the friend, and took the friend out. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys enjoy these spooky stories, or if this is your first time seeing my face on TikTok, you better make sure you follow me on this app. And not only that, if you guys want better, longer spooky stories, I have so many of those on my YouTube page. You could listen to my stories while you do your hair, your nighttime routine, whatever. I just want to say thank you guys so much for getting me to 20,000 subscribers on YouTube. If you're a part of that family, I love you so much. Thank you so much for being an abducted human. If you want to take it one step further to show me that it's real, go ahead and go to my Instagram and follow me. The link is in my link tree on top of my page. And this was one of the most requested videos that you guys wanted me to talk about. So let's talk while I do my hair. And as you guys can see, I'm Haitian, so this is right up my alley. So if you guys have not seen this story yet, so the guy who made the video, his sister got into an altercation with, I guess you can say, a witch in the neighborhood. One of the things about Haiti, it doesn't matter what an elderly does. It doesn't matter what people do. You do not disrespect strangers. That is a fact. Like, you do not. That was one of the things that my parents taught me. Like, you never get disrespectful with anybody out in Haiti, because they will catch your ass back. After you've been disrespectful to an elder specifically, they can pluck their beard and throw it after you, and that's extremely bad luck. Don't know how it works, that's just what I was told. Anyway, let's get on with his story. His sister was rude to the wrong person, and I guess the wrong person is a witch in that neighborhood. And basically, the witch, they don't normally say much because they're like really powerful people. So when the sister was being rude to her, the witch basically told the sister, you have 3 days. Even though the sister, being a part of that lifestyle, knows what the witch meant, she still disregarded what she said and went on with her life. And 3 days later, as the witch said, the sister started getting chronically ill. The sister is coughing and she has like this horrible fever, and she's just bedridden, and she's just getting worse and worse. And after some time of dealing with this sickness that had no cure, the sister winds up passing away. You know, they went through the funeral and the burial and everything, and at this point it's been, I believe, 2 months since the sister's been dead. When the family realized that the sister did not die of natural causes and that this was indeed witchcraft, they decided that they wanted to bring the sister back from the dead, that they wanted to raise her back. Now, if this sounds ridiculous for you, then clearly you must be new here, because this is so common in Haiti. In order to bring someone back from the dead, you need someone even more powerful than the person who unalived them to be able to do that. So there are levels to this shit. So it's basically undoing the work of another witch, but you have to be more powerful than that witch. Period. So their uncle happened to be more powerful than the person who unalived the sister. So the family decided that the uncle was going to bring back his niece from the dead. Keep in mind that this is also undermining the previous witch's work, because it's like, I can undo what you did. And fair enough, the uncle goes to the tomb where she was buried, does his whole prayer and everything, and it was successful as he raised that man's sister from the dead. There were a few rules, like they were never allowed to talk about it, and they were never allowed to let the sister know about her past and that, you know, she had previously died. Now, the witch heard word that the uncle had undone her work, and she's like, oh, word? Okay, so she goes to someone else who's even more powerful, I'm assuming, and they managed to turn that man's uncle into a cow. Yes, you heard that right. So the uncle is now a cow living on a farm somewhere, but the sister is alive. Now, he mentions being terrified of his sister, to say the least. I mean, like, she was literally dead for 2 months, and here she is back. And when she came back, she didn't seem like her old self either. She seems to be very different than the previous version of her that died previously. Now, in Haiti, usually people raise up the dead because they're in need of workers. Usually in Haiti, people raise up the dead because they're in need of workers. But this was a special case because it was the uncle that raised up his niece because he wanted his niece to have a second chance in life. Now, he mentions that his sister is still back in Haiti and that they do actually talk sometimes. And she has a boyfriend out there. However, every time she tries to have kids, she would give birth. And after 3 months of having the kid would unfortunately pass away. I mean, she really can't have kids, which was one of the things that I believe the uncle told them about as, like, you know, a side effect. Whatever spirit brought her back is going to keep taking whatever children she keeps producing. And dude himself right now is going through it because he's speaking out about it. And doing voodoo is basically like working for the government, as he says. Because why? You're not supposed to talk about these things. And, well, he already talked about it on TikTok. So he's been saying that, you know, things are starting to pop up for him because he's not supposed to be talking about this. He went into so many details on his page about how he's been literally tormented by spirits and ever since he started talking about this. And he also knows that he did piss off some people back home who still want his head. He has a very prayerful wife, and I believe that he's gonna be okay. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys want the full tea, you guys better go to their page. He done spilt a lot. I binge watched his page for a good 2 hours. If you're from the Caribbean or Africa, if you know, you know. This isn't a myth. This isn't just a story. This is the truth. I am back with another spooky story. Have you ever encountered a mimicking spirit? And if you're wondering, what is a mimicking spirit? Well, after I tell this story, maybe it's gonna make sense. And I don't know if that's the right technical term for it. Shayna, one of my friends, shared this spooky story with me, and I just have to share it with you guys. So Shayna says one day she was sitting in the house, chilling, minding her own business, and her sister was inside one of the rooms. So Shayna's sitting in the living room and her sister is in her room, when suddenly Shayna starts to hear her sister calling for her. The first time she didn't hear her sister very clearly, so she did not answer. But then the sister just kept calling for her. But the only thing is, the sister was repeating the same thing over and over again. Shayna just kept hearing her sister say, Shayna, can you come here? Shayna, can you come here? Shayna, can you come here? And it would just like repeat that same thing over and over. And Shayna, she's busy. She's watching something in the living room and she's thinking that her little sister is probably just being annoying. So she responds to her younger sister and she's like, yo, like, give me a second. Like, I'm watching something right now. I'm coming. And there goes the little sister. Shayna, can you come here? She's like, bro, like, give me a fucking second. I'm coming. Finally, Shayna's like, all right, I'm coming. So she gets up and walks over to the room and gets to her sister's room. And she gets to her sister's room and her sister is fast asleep. There was nobody else in that house, and her sister looked like she had been sleeping for a while. And because Shayna was like utterly freaked out by this, she woke her sister up like, bitch, you was just calling me, wake up. Her sister jumps out of bed like, bro, like, what do you want? Why are you waking me up right now? And she's like, girl, you was just calling me. I'm here. What do you want? And her sister's like, well, could I have been calling you if I'm asleep? And Shayna's just like, girl, stop playing with me. You was just calling me. You called me at least like 7 times just now. And her sister was really like, no, like, I'm sorry, sis, but like, it really was not me. And I asked Shayna, I was like, did you respond? She was like, yes, like, I responded. And the motherfucker just kept saying the same thing over and over again. Shayna, can you come here? Shayna, can you come here? And Shayna says that is not the last time that somebody had a weird, spooky encounter in that house. And this story reminds me of another story that my friend from high school had shared with me back in high school. Homegirl we're gonna call her Kira for this story, and she's from St. Lucia, and her parents are like traditionally Lucian. Kira says one day she's chilling in her basement, minding her own business, and she's hearing like footsteps back and forth, right? And the way her basement is set up, her couch is not facing the staircase leading to the basement. So if she's sitting on the couch, her back is actually facing the staircase that is leading to the basement. I hope that made sense. So Kira is downstairs watching TV, minding her business, and she's hearing like every activity that's going on throughout the house. Meaning she's hearing her mom come from work upstairs, she's hearing her mom walking around upstairs. She heard the door open and close, and she heard her mother getting stuff out of her car and coming inside of the house and filling them in the fridge. Like, she's hearing all of this. So Kira's just thinking that her mother's home, so she's not thinking anything of it. Then she starts hearing her mother asking her, Kira, can you come help me? And Kira's like, yeah, give me a second, mom. And mind you, Kira's in the basement. So she's like, yeah, mom, give me like 2 seconds, I'm coming. And as she's responding, she hears it again in the same monotone. Kira, can you help me? And Kira's like, okay, mom, coming. So she drops what she's doing and heads upstairs. Then she gets upstairs and realizes her mother is not even upstairs. So she's like, okay, mom, what do you need help with? And she hears her mother's voice coming from upstairs. So she had a basement, ground level, and an upstairs floor. Kira's parents, I don't know what they did for a living, but she had money. Anyway, she's like, mom, what do you need help with? And the same voice responds back to her, but this time the voice sounds like it's coming from upstairs, and the voice is saying to her, oh, I'm up here. And she just kept hearing over and over, I'm up here, Kira, I'm up here. And Kira's wondering, like, how would she get upstairs that fast? Okay. And as Kira's getting ready to turn around to go upstairs, she hears the door open and in walks her mother. So needless to say that Kira was shocked because, mom, you like, And homie is staring at her mother like there's no way this is real. Like this can't be real. And Kara is telling her mother like, Ma, I came upstairs because you called me. And her mother's like, girl, stop playing with the games. Like I literally just came home from work. And Kara's like, so you telling me you have not been home for the past half an hour? She's like, no. She's like, you standing there asking me all these questions. Can you help me with all the stuff I got in the car? So who was that in the house? Who was walking around upstairs and who was calling me that sounded exactly like you saying to come upstairs to help? And Kira's mother said, I don't know who it is that you thought you were speaking with, but it wasn't me. So, yeah. I am back with another spooky story. And this one, you don't want to watch at night. But y'all don't listen to me anyway, so let's get into it. This story is my roommate's story. And we're going to call my roommate Ellie. That's her name. So Ellie and her brother had a time in their childhood where they were in the foster system awaiting adoption. Ellie and her brother winds up getting moved from the first place that they were staying to a house in Long Island. Now, Ellie described this house to be absolutely beautiful. It was a mansion, like decorations, high ceiling, definitely no house that she's ever been to before. And it wasn't just Ellie and her brother that was moved to this house. A bunch of kids from the group home that she was originally staying at were too moved to this house. So it's day one and the kids are exploring the house. Around that time, Ellie must have been 7 and her brother must have been 5. So all the kids are in this humongous house and they're all just exploring the space. Someone winds up coming around and designates each kid to a room. Ellie got put in a room with her brother and 2 other children. So keep in mind, as this is happening, as the kids are getting more acclimated to the house, this is all happening in broad daylight. So it hasn't even gotten dark yet. Kids get put into their rooms to put their stuff down, and they notice the closet in the room. The closet was closed, but for some reason, the kids, they seemed to be intrigued by this closet. So they decided that they were actually going to open the closet and go through it and just see what's in there. And before I tell you guys what happened, I want you guys to be able to picture the closet. The closet had shelves. And what the kids at the time did not know was that the last shelf on the closet actually led up to an attic. It was kind of like a secret entrance to the attic. So picture it like this, right? What the kids did not know though was that the top shelf would lead to an attic. And obviously the closet was much bigger than that. So at this point, the kids walk in, they're looking at the closet, it's just a closet at this point. They see the shelves, but they can't see on top of it, so it's cool. They'll put their stuff down and go on about their business. One of the kids reported to hearing thumping in the closet, as if like there was somebody in the closet. But again, they had opened the closet earlier and there was nobody in there. So what the fuck is that noise and where is it coming from? It kept hearing it and the noise would intensify. Footsteps, thuds. So the kids went to the family of the house, which I'm assuming the owner of the house, and told them about the noise that they're hearing in the closet. So the family of the house decided to go investigate and see what could be making the noise in the closet. So Ellie and her brother, being nosy, decided to go with the family to go check out what it was that was making the noise in the closet. So they opened the closet door and they walk in and everybody's just looking. So Ellie and her brother are standing there just looking around and the family is looking around with them investigating. It seems like the noise and the stomping is coming from up. So one of the members from the family picked one of the kids up so they can be able to get a better view of what was going on up there. So as the little boy is reaching up there to see what's going on, just like a scary movie, y'all, why the little boy got snatched into the attic. Ellie and her brother saw this with their own 2 eyes. They stood there and they watched this little boy literally get yanked and pulled into the attic. Everybody starts freaking out. Everyone. Kids are petrified, the family is horrified, and young Ellie at the time decided that she had seen enough. She has no idea what happened to that little boy. Decided to run outside and call ACS. Y'all better come pick me and my brother up because I don't know where the fuck y'all got me right now. She explained the situation to the people about the little boy being snatched into the closet. At that point, the little boy still hasn't come out. Literally, ACS rushed over and got all of the kids out of the house. Had all the kids standing outside. They refused to let anybody come back inside of the house. And eventually, they took the kids and left and they never went back to the house. If you're wondering what happened to that little boy, so am I. I have no idea. Ellie has no idea. They literally had the kids standing outside. Then they took the kids and just drove off and they never heard anything back from that. And from there, they were moved to the next house. Thank you guys so much for watching this story. If you enjoyed these mysterious, spooky stories, you better follow me on TikTok. In my bio, I have a link tree. You'll be able to find my YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube for longer, better, spooky stories. While you're at it, go ahead and follow me on Instagram just so that I know that it's real. Please? This one was definitely a spooky one. If you have a spooky story that you think is interesting enough that you'd like me to tell, feel free to DM me that story on Instagram or send me a voice note. I like those better. So seriously, if your grammar is ass, just send me a voice note. Don't piss me off because I be getting brain aneurysms trying to read these stories. Send voice notes. I have plenty more ghost stories, not just from Ellie, but Ellie's friend Shayna. We were all sharing ghost stories yesterday and I was like, oh yeah, this is about to be the next series. Because Ellie went on to live in another haunted house after that where a little girl's spirit lived in her bedroom. And Shayna had a very strange encounter when she was just a little girl. I can't wait to tell you guys all about it. Make sure you guys leave a comment letting me know which story you guys want to hear first and what did you guys think about today's story from your favorite Haitian homegirl.